Most aggression is what we would call reactive aggression. So it's responding to something without impulse control. So with that in mind, we have an Insta poll for you, and we want you to tell us what you think is the most aggressive age group. So what age people engage in the most aggression is the most aggressive? So let's go over to Sarah with results.
Most aggressive age was 12 to 18 with 44%.
Okay. And what comes after that? What was their next most common answer?
Well, 13.2% said 19 to 30, but we also have 19.7% of students saying that 4 to 7-year-olds can get pretty aggressive.
Okay. And what percentage said 2 to 3-year-olds?
Only about 7%.
7%. Okay. So 7% of you, gold star to you, to those of you who picked toddlerhood as the most aggressive time in life. You were right.
It kind of depends how you measure it, right?
Yes. So we can measure aggression in a couple of different ways. So one is in the prevalence of aggression. So within a given age group, how many people are physically aggressive? It's estimated that between 70 and 80% of 2 to 3-year-olds will regularly bite other children, right? So I just want you to think about that. If you lived in a dorm room where or a dorm floor, an apartment building where 70 to 80% of people, if there was a fight over food, fight over who got to play with who, that you were likely to be bitten by the other person because 80% of you were biting each other, right? Well, that's unimaginable. So just in terms of the number of people, the prevalence of aggression, toddlerhood wins. The other thing that toddlerhood wins on is the frequency of aggression. So you might have aggressed against someone maybe once or twice in your life, or maybe once or twice this year. A toddler might aggress against someone once or twice per hour, right? So if you have a child in daycare and they're 2 or 3, get ready for bite reports. Who did your child bite that day? Who did your child hit that day? Your child will come home with dental marks on their arm from other children. It is a really Hobbesian time of life. But they're little. Their little bodies can't murder you. So the psychologist Paul Bloom said that you survive the toddler years because your toddler can't murder you with their bare hands. And that's true if you've ever seen a toddler shaking with rage, right? They are so angry, but they're pint-sized. So in terms of the severity of the aggression, in terms of the severity of the consequences, it's not as severe. When we're getting to adulthood, it's much rarer, it's much less frequent, but you might have access to a gun or a weapon, and you are a big adult human, and so your rare aggressive act can have much more pernicious consequences. So most of aggression is not instrumental. It's not psychopathic. It's not because of an inflated ego. It is because you want something and you can't help yourself, right? Or you're feeling bad. Sometimes my kids say, I can't tell if I'm angry or hungry. And I'm like, well, let's go with hungry. Like, let's go with the snack. And it's that impulse control that you're developing over the rest of your life. Many of you said adolescence is the most aggressive time. And if I had been teaching this lecture 5 years ago, I would have said, you are right, that is the second most aggressive age group. Because throughout the 1980s, 90s, and early 2000s, if you looked at violent crime rates by age group, you would see what many people called the age crime curve, which is this peak in violent crime arrest rates in adolescents relative to adults. What has happened in the last 10 years is something that's really exciting and interesting, which is that age crime curve has collapsed. And now people are more likely to be arrested at 30 than they are as teenagers, even for violent crimes. That might be because of a lot of different mechanisms, including how the opioid epidemic has changed crime in the US. But it's an example of how science is always changing. We're always trying to figure out, what is going on with the psychology of behavior.